Ethan, I know you're excited. The $7 billion deal, $7.7 billion to be specific. And for anybody who is unaware who's watching, what this means for UFC fans is, I think ESPN and UFC had a deal for pay-per-view. It was like $59 a year annually to have ESPN, and then it was anywhere from like 60 to 80 or 90 bucks per pay-per-view to watch UFC fights. Now, I believe UFC will air on CBS and Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus is probably somewhere in the range of $10 a month. So this is huge for UFC fans and casual fans who maybe don't watch fights because of the price point, right? That barrier to entry. What do you think this means for card prices, this deal?
I think this deal is going to do a lot for the UFC. It's going to bring more eyes on the show. It's going to be on cable, so more people are forced to watch it. And it's going to bring some more casuals into it because a lot of the time, I mean, Stream East is going to lose tons of money. Everyone's been illegally watching these fights for a long time, and now it's convenient to watch it. It's going to help the gambling market. It's going to help the sports card market. A lot of the OGs who've been watching the sport have been collecting for a long time, and the cards have been fairly cheap. If you compare a Conor McGregor rookie to a Jordan rookie, a Brady rookie, an Otani rookie, it's not even close, and they're as monumental to the sport as anyone else is. For example, if you look at the Conor Bloodlines rookie base PSA 10, it's probably like a couple $100 card. It's pretty much the exact replica of what a Fleer Jordan should be for the sport. And I can see in a couple years UFC being the biggest sport in the world.
Well, it sort of already is one of the biggest sports in the world only because every single country can watch it, right? Not that anybody can't watch football or baseball, but I think there's a lot of the four major sports that we watch in America are not very popular overseas, right? Where fighting is kind of just international, universal, right? Everybody can watch a fight. Everybody has some variation of fighting or mixed martial arts within their country, right? So it's cool to watch all of the styles kind of compete in one arena. I think that allowing the average fan access to these fights, fight night. I think you said there was 30-something fight nights or 60 fight nights a year, plus 13 pay-per-views. Now that's just going to be given out to everyone. I think this broadens the audience, increases the UFC fan base. More people get to watch. More people get interested. And again, we always talk about supply and demand, right? So now what's about to happen is there's going to be more people watching, more eyeballs, more eBay searches, more people who demand to see cards. Not just UFC fights. Now there's going to be a higher demand for cards. And there's only so many UFC cards that are produced. I mean, also think about this. There's way more football, basketball, baseball sets that are produced than UFC. The supply is what it is at the moment in terms of UFC cards. And if the demand comes in and increases, this could be a huge opportunity to buy right now.
Yeah, and we're not talking about a sport that's brand new. Football's been around for 100 years. Soccer's been around for 300 years. Fighting's been around for thousands and thousands of years. I mean, there's nothing like a rush of just watching two guys go all out. It's not a team sport. It's just 1v1 and the best guy wins. These fighters are also super marketable. They're not wearing a helmet. They're not wearing a jersey. They're just them. They gotta talk shit. They gotta promote their own fights. Most of the time they represent themselves. I mean, it's just such a personal sport because everyone can relate to getting punched in the face. You know how much that hurts. Now watching it on the best of the best fighting, it's kind of like how gladiators used to be. When you're a kid, kids don't have money. They can't go on Stream East and watch it illegally. They can't spend $100 to watch the fights. Now they're going to be able to grow up watching UFC, and that's going to instill some type of favoritism to the sport that hasn't been around for a long time.
And you have Dana White, who is an incredible marketer, and you know he's buddies with Michael Rubin, maybe the master marketer. And we've already seen Dana White show up to Fanatics Fest and post content, open boxes online, show some of his collection even outside of UFC. So I think that Dana White will be a champion of pushing UFC cards and cards in general forward, right, in addition to what he's doing. But back to, we always talk about on this show, what affects a card's price to make it move up or down. I mean, a player winning an MVP, player winning a championship, guy gets injured, their card price goes down. This is a moment that doesn't happen all the time where the entire sport could arguably be elevated 10, 20, 30% minimum, right? And especially the guys, these legacy guys, Conor McGregor, right? John Jones, Khabib, the guys who have fought for years and years and years. I mean, there's an argument to be made, even the guys from the early 2000s, right? So, like, maybe an Anderson Silva, like a Rampage, maybe
a Royce Gracie, a Ken Shamrock. Like, all these guys are total legends of their sport. And most of the casual people, UFC fans, don't even know about it. It's actually going to be super educational having this on mainstream TV so people can get more of a background on the sport. But the most important thing about this is, like, you own these sports cards, and, like, let's say your player is playing great, but you lose because your team is ass. This is not going to happen in the UFC. Only you go in there. If you win or lose, that's going to reflect directly on prices. You can't go in there and lose and be like, oh, it was cold weather outside, my coach was not telling me the right thing to do. No, you got your ass beat. So you can hold these cards. They can go on 5 fight win streaks, win the belt. That card will go up every single fight or down every single fight.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that we're about to have this moment in time where we saw Ilya sell for $100K, his Black Prism.
Yep.
Just did that. And by the way, we have, I don't know if you heard about Khamzat versus Duplessis.
DDP this week's going to be a great fight.
Like, they're both undefeated. I don't even know how to say his name. Duplessis?
Yeah, Dricus has got 2 losses, but Khamzat's undefeated. Like, and how cool is this? We're watching a guy from South Africa fight a Russian, and then under the card, we're going to have a Georgian fighting an American, and it's like such a cultural sport. And that Ilya sale of $100K is one of the highest UFC cards ever, and Ilya's only been around for 2 years. So imagine like a George St. Pierre card should be doing around these numbers, and now that more eyes are on the sport, people are going to realize that.
I'm so glad I moved my Sean O'Malley Gold Prism to you months back.
Yeah, and good thing I moved it last month, even though I regret it.
It was such a cool card.
Dude, 22. So I want to go into the cards that are going to be big. All right? What we're talking about right now. 2020 Prism Gold. It's first-year Prism for UFC. Great set. Round 1 autos, which are the first autographs of UFC. They have regular autos and they have red ink autos. Those are going to be great. Then you got to look at the GOATs. 2009 John Jones autos, 20 Bloodlines, which is Khabib and Conor. You know, there's so many underrated cards you can pick up now that I guarantee in a year they'll be 2 or 3x what they are.
And by the way, we've been getting some feedback on the show for anybody who's listening that a lot of people do want to see more affordable cards that we discuss. And I just want to let everybody know that we will be discussing more cards at more affordable price points, number one. But regardless of the price points, the same rules apply to everybody who's watching, right? So if we're talking about UFC right now and you're like, Dappz, Ethan, who should I buy? Who should I be looking at? Anything in a slab, check the pop count.
Yeah.
Right? And again, anybody who finds a listing on eBay or Alt or Card Ladder or wherever, you can always click the back image of the card and scan that QR code. That will bring you to the actual pop report and show you, hey, this card was printed 99 times and there's, 17 PSA 10s or whatever the breakdown is.
And you know what the cool thing about UFC cards are? They haven't been around since the 60s and 70s. The earliest ones you're going to find are in the 2000s, and just like the 60s and 70s, they were made like shit. A lot of them don't grade well. So if you find a high-graded one, like what we're looking at right now is a Khabib PSA 10 rookie, you could find that for $200. Buy now on eBay. One of the greatest UFC fighters ever.
Yeah, and just before the show started, you said, I might buy this card buy it now at $215. And by the way, for somebody to say that, there's not a lot of cards on eBay that you would be willing to just go buy it now without negotiating or putting an offer in and saying, let me see if I could get this card for $175, right? So most of the time, if you do see a card on eBay, anybody who's new to the hobby, remember, all of those cards are most likely up 30%, 40%, 50% over their value. So you can always put an offer in to try to get it a little cheaper.
Yeah, and one of the bigger cards that I've been seeing growing, even before this deal, have been the Joe Rogan 2009s. Look at Joe Rogan. That guy is one of the most influential people in the world. Like, he might have decided the presidency this year. Like, this guy's cards, I remember buying PSA 8s for like $300, and I'm pretty sure they're at $600 now. The 10s a pop 6. Like, the last sale is maybe a $2K, I believe, and I know privately they're moving for 5 digits.
Yeah, and I mean, I have never even seen a PSA 10. So, pretty wild. $300 for a 7 right now on eBay. So, I'm sure you would estimate this somewhere between $200 and $250 is probably the average for. But that's a pretty wild jump from a 7 to a 10 being $250 to $10K.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like that doesn't really happen across a lot of cards.
And this is just a base card. Like it's not even that long ago. This card's from 2009. Like it's,
15 years old.
It's only 15 years old.
Yeah.
This card has so much room to keep going up. Like right now, the UFC fandom is relatively small. It's gonna go up to the size of like tennis or hockey or one of the lower edge sports. And if they even hit that line, they should break records.